The smell of pumpkin is in the air as fall is officially here in the city of Philadelphia. And Michael Nuther's reign as Philadelphia's mayor is coming to an end as the race for the next mayor heats up. Hello, I'm Steve Graham.
And I'm Corey Meredith. LaSalle's campus was jam-packed with events leading to the inauguration of 29th President Gavin Liechtenstein. And LaSalle students teach you how to remain healthy while having a little fun. We have all of this and more coming up on LTV News, where the action never stops.
Hello and welcome to LaSalle TV News, where we bring you everything LaSalle, Philadelphia, and the world.
There is plenty coming your way today with our political analyst Gavin Liechtenstein joining Steve and I to stay up to date on the presidential election. And later, Madison Elliott sits down with Dan Maloney to talk about his involvement with the Collegian. But first, let's see what's happening at LaSalle. On Saturday, October 4th, LaSalle hosted its 4th annual Community Health Fair. The shops at LaSalle were filled with student athletes, nursing majors, and the community surrounding 20th and Olney. The event was open to the public, and reporter Kirsten McDonald had the opportunity to attend. Take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten McDonald. I'm here with LTV at the 4th annual LaSalle University Community Health Fair. Hosted by our lovely community building team, we've got loads of information about how we can improve our well-being right here at the shops at LaSalle. We've got flu shots and even blood pressure screenings. Come on, let's go check it out.
LaSalle University's 4th annual health fair served the community in a variety of ways. Located at the shops at LaSalle, Fresh Grocer and Rite Aid graciously hosted the event. Each got involved to promote healthy lifestyles. Renowned health organizations also participated in the fair. LTV got a chance to chat with a healthcare organization and charity.
So we like to think of ourselves as friendly neighbors. So we're out here in the community today supporting the community. Health Partners actually does, it's a private health insurance company. We do Medicare, Medicaid, and CHIP.
Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation is an organization that works to raise money for pediatric cancer research. My job specifically with the organization is I work with all of our national education-based programs from kindergarten up to college level. And being based pretty much in the Philadelphia area, we are working to expand and increase the number of institutions that we're working with. But we're also just trying to let more institutions know that we're out there and the number of ways you can get involved.
While we see many health professionals and renowned organizations right here at our community health fair, we've also learned that students are playing a huge role in the success of this. The athletes are playing with the kids, and we have student nurses taking blood pressure tests, and even the clubs here at LaSalle are playing a huge role. Things like the Environmental Club are learning how to gain community involvement in our local garden.
So getting involved, I've been to CPT meetings, and they're really supportive of eco in general and encouraged us to come and share with the community some of our harvests from this season, which is really awesome because we're getting sign-ups for people who in the spring can get involved in the garden. So we're really looking forward to bringing in our neighbors into the garden, and I think for all the organizations here, this is probably one of the best opportunities of the whole semester to bring in, people from outside LaSalle.
So girls, how can students at LaSalle get involved at this health fair?
Well, we are junior nursing students, so we are getting involved by taking people's blood pressure, their blood sugar, and just promoting a healthy lifestyle.
And then once we collect the data, we are interpreting it and letting the people know if they have a high blood pressure, if they should go see their doctor, and we're asking about immunizations that they should be up to date with.
Athletes, cheerleaders, and students came together on this beautiful Saturday afternoon to serve the community. Students got a chance to explore their health and meet surrounding neighbors of LaSalle University. For LTV, I'm Kirsten McDonald.
What may have been the biggest news to hit LaSalle's campus in a long time happened this past week. Madam President Gavin Liechtenstein was officially welcomed to 20th and Olney through a celebratory inauguration week. The entire student body was highly encouraged to attend the various events hosted throughout the week. On Monday, October 5th, a panel featuring LaSalle faculty and staff hosted a faith, service, and community symposium focusing around the theme of the city as a classroom. A number of events took place on Tuesday, including a coffee and conversation welcoming event with the 29th president of our university. Also, Dr. Liechtenstein made the enduring walk down to South Campus to share a meal with the students at Treetops Cafe. Finishing off the day, LaSalle students joined President Hanich in a LaSalle Chevron photo at the McCarthy Stadium, even getting free t-shirts for attending.
Inauguration Mass took place for the president at the Cathedral Basilica on Wednesday. And finally, finishing off this historic week, President Hanich's formal inauguration took place on Friday, October 9th in the Tom Gola Arena. LTV News reporter Grace Griffithson was able to attend. Let's get the scoop.
Grace Griffithson reporting for LaSalle TV News. I'm here at LaSalle University where in just a few moments Dr. Colleen Hanich will celebrate her inauguration.
Images of the inauguration and LaSalle filled the arena. Students, faculty, university professionals, and guests from all around the world came to see LaSalle's first layperson and woman president become inaugurated. As President Hanich entered the Tom Gola, she was greeted with a standing ovation. She responded with a humble, "Thank you." An array of people came to welcome Dr. Hanich into presidency.
Today, LaSalle scores the touchdown unlike the Eagles. Today, LaSalle, it's that three-pointer that wins the game.
Student Government President Beckett Woodworth gave a compelling speech and requested Colleen to maintain the Catholic tradition at LaSalle. But it was Claire Hanich who seemed to really move the audience when speaking of her mother's love for LaSalle University.
Most of all, she loves the students of LaSalle.
President Hanich was inaugurated and received yet another standing ovation. I interviewed a few guests to learn more about the president's dedication to LaSalle.
Anytime that I've interacted with her has been some of these bigger events where we're celebrating her welcoming to LaSalle, but one in particular was the Day of Service. So she's definitely ready to roll her hands up and get to work with the rest of us.
Months, I've gotten real close with her, like working with her personally. I can just say, like, she has such a strong vision for LaSalle's future. She's really dedicated to the mission, dedicated to working with students. And I'm really, really excited to see what she does in the next 4.5 years. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Concluding the 29th inauguration of a LaSallian president, I'm Grace Griffithson reporting for LTV News. Back at you guys.
On October 3rd, explorers from all over the globe united as one to give back to the community they call home. Students, staff, alumni, and parents, and even friends all put in a helping hand at 25 different locations around Philadelphia for this year's Lasallian Day of Service. Take a look at the recap of a day brought to you by LaSalle University.
Threat took people by surprise, making everyone more cautious and alert. On Sunday, October 4th, an unspecified threat was leaked online warning colleges near the Philadelphia area to take high alert of a potential attack. Officials warned dozens of universities, believing that this threat was tied to the recent Oregon Community College shooting. The threat remained very vague in terms of location and exact events, but it did mention a specific time, Monday at 2 p.m. Campuses all around Philadelphia were on high alert with advanced security and police assistance, but classes still remained in session. Reporters Callie Montana and Bailey Henderson took to LaSalle's main quad to see how students felt about this horrific scare. LTV reporters Bailey Henderson and Callie Montana took to the Union patio to find out student reactions to the unspecified threat to Philadelphia schools.
So I was definitely a little scared. What's been going on the last few years with mass school shootings, of course people would be a little nervous.
I mean, I was kind of nervous about it because a lot of things like happen and like no one ever thinks it's going to be us, but I don't think any school ever feels like it is.
My thoughts, I kind of figured like classes should just be canceled just in case, just because I was nervous, but overall, like I kind of understand.
It kind of had me worried because I've researched the group that made the threat, and they were kind of laughing at what happened at the upper school on 4chan.
And I heard it was threats on Christian students, and this is a Christian Brothers school, so I was pretty nervous that it could have been LaSalle.
I was really freaked out. I actually had no clue that it was going on until I came back on campus, and when I read about it, I immediately called my friends from other colleges asking like, what's going on, why is this happening?
It was kind of a freaky situation, and I felt like we had to act strong, because if we acted afraid with every threat, then we would just live in fear, and I don't believe we should live in fear.
I've assumed that it was one of those, popularity stunts or whatever, like this person's getting a lot of attention, so let me do something to get a lot of attention too. That's how you get like a lot of copycat bombers.
I was definitely nervous about the threat, and I thought that there might have been more to it than people were saying.
I wouldn't say I was scared. I was a little aware, so I was moving to my classes pretty quick.
I thought it was like pretty scary. Like I was afraid to like leave my dorm.
I believe we have a great security team out here, so I wasn't too scared.
I think it was a little scarier because of what happened in Oregon the week before. But I think the university, made the right call in keeping classes open.
Did you end up going to classes on Monday?
I did, yep. I am a nerd, and I went to class, every single one, and everything was fine.
Yeah, I went to all my classes that day.
I go to classes just because I figured like I couldn't lose points for not showing up, and I didn't know how the professors would react.
Yes, I did.
Like I went to class, but they were like, we're not going to penalize you if you don't come to class. I feel like the teachers were really understanding about the whole situation.
Coming into class, I was nervous a little bit, but I did have a test, so I had to be here. So
I did in the morning, I didn't in the afternoon.
Corey and I have a very special guest joining us today. Gavin Liechtenstein is here to give us an update on the presidential election. Gavin, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Gavin. Now, let's get right to it. So after Tuesday night's Democratic debate in Las Vegas, who do you see as the new frontrunner of this party?
So clearly, Hillary Clinton did what she's been doing for 20 years, from First Lady to Senator. She was very clear. She was very specific about what she wanted to change. We saw her kind of dancing the thin line between praising the Obama administration and getting those donors, getting that support moving forward. But we also saw her say, you know what, I'm different, and we're going to do things a little different. We also saw a big change, a big challenge for Hillary, is we were looking at some of the numbers, and among young voters, voters on Facebook, they all said Bernie Sanders won. So you look at different groups and you look at different polls, and it's funny to see the difference between the young voters and the older voters. Young voters typically do vote more Democratic, but we're seeing they're really flocking to Bernie Sanders in 2016. At least they did last night.
And you mentioned that after the debate, most people are either talking about Hillary or Bernie Sanders. Do you think, it's now October, does any other Democratic presidential candidate have a chance of sticking in moving forward?
Right now, we have until Joe Biden, Vice President, has until October 29th. That's the first ballot deadline for Georgia. After that, he has a few other ones, but that's one of the major ones. So he's going to have to make a decision. And after last night, it becomes a lot harder because we're seeing a lot of these super PACs, these mega donors who had been waiting. After last night, they're saying, you know what, she might be our candidate, which is very scary, and it's very scary for the Democratic Party moving forward after last night if Joe is to run, because he's going to have to make a decision, and it just got that much harder with her knocking it out of the park last night.
And moving to the other side of the spectrum, we got to shift animals. We're on the elephants now.
Yeah.
We have in the most recent poll, Ben Carson has pulled in front of Donald Trump in favor, both non-politicians.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts moving forward? Who's going to take the primaries for Republican candidates?
It is back to the future. We're seeing the Cubs in baseball are doing very well in the NLCS, and now we're seeing these outsiders. And by outsiders, I mean, we saw this in 1974 with Jimmy Carter. We're seeing people that are frustrated with government. We're seeing people that are challenged with, that are really upset about where we are with Washington politics. And what we're really seeing is, you know what, we're having these guys saying, you know what, I'm not going to play your game. We are going to do this a different way. I'm not in Washington politics. I don't need your money, and this is how we're going to do it.
Well, Gavin, we look forward to what the next month's ahead of us, you know, what president's going to be.
You know, we always value your opinion here.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to jump right into Philly news, so let's get started. Beer, food, music, Philly, that's the slogan for Philadelphia's 7th annual Blocktoberfest. This year, the Pay As You Go Festival once again returned to its usual location, South Street West, on Saturday, October 3rd from noon to 9 p.m. The event offered a wide variety of food choices from local restaurants and food trucks. Participating food trucks included the Cow and the Curb, the My Mom's Polish food car, and Nomad's Pizza. Since the festival was an October celebration, craft beers were being sold all day long. If people bought a beer bracelet or drink ticket, they could try out some of the 39 craft beers from across the country being sold at Blocktoberfest, including a number of local brews. On top of the beers and food, Blocktoberfest presented an array of local musicians throughout the event. Over the years, Blocktoberfest has raised $130,000 in beer proceeds to various charitable causes and will continue to raise funds for initiatives that address education, green space, public safety, and community development for the South neighbors in the years to come.
He's known for his work on the field, but on Monday, October 5th, one Eagles player traded his football helmet for a different kind of helmet. Linebacker Connor Bartwin suited up in his bicyclist gear and rode from Broad and Federal Streets in South Philadelphia to Lincoln Financial Field. Bartwin was riding to spread the word about Capital One's new partnership with the bike share program run by Indigo. Indigo already has 70 biking stations in the city of Philadelphia. Bartwin is known for supporting eco-friendly programs.
Get out your sweaters and jack-o'-lanterns because October is here, everybody. You better polish off your sweet tooth because Halloween is right around the corner. But that's not the only thing to do in Philly this month. The fall festival season has begun. Festivals occurring in Philadelphia include the Old City Fest happening on October 11th. For all of you aspiring wizards out there, on October 16th and 17th, there's a Harry Potter Fest in Chestnut Hill. And for the film buffs, the Philadelphia Film Festival is celebrating its 24th anniversary on October 22nd till November 1st. Also, if you're looking to get spooked, I suggest you stop by the Eastern State Penitentiary for your daily dose of ghosts and gals. October is filled with exciting things to do, so grab a pumpkin spice latte and have yourself some fun.
Democratic candidate Jim Kenney and Republican Melissa Murray faced off Monday night in the city's second mayor debate. Face-to-face at the studios of WHYY, the candidates discussed and debated education, race, the jobs market, and poverty in Philadelphia. As the city now prepares for the Democratic National Convention in July, Democratic mayor candidate Kenney said he will address the convention in a different way, learning from how the city dealt with the papal visit. Quote, "The papal visit was not a money-making venture. It was a pilgrimage. You don't have pilgrimage eating in five-star restaurants." End quote. One of the hot-button issues discussed Monday was education in the city's public schools. Republican mayor nominee Murray made an ambitious claim that she could achieve a 100% literacy rate among Philadelphia third graders by the end of her first term. Quote, "I don't think algebra has changed in 20 years. I don't think American history has changed or some of the classics that we're reading." End quote. Kenney tossed out a new idea that fell into the school's column tonight, saying he wanted to work with the city's construction unions to boost job training. The general election is November 3rd.
Well, that just about does it for Philly news. Let's get right to the world. Steve, take it away.
Good news for all breakfast lovers out there. Instead of serving breakfast until 10:30 a.m., McDonald's will now be serving morning meals all day nationwide. This was the #1 request by customers to Mickey D's. The excitement of this news change has been seen all over social media, making up almost over 50,000 tweets in 24 hours. McDonald's will still be serving pancakes, sausage, and the sausage burrito, but depending upon the location of the restaurant, they will either have a biscuit menu or a muffin menu. Some people are skeptical of this move, but the fast food restaurant claims they will evolve the breakfast menu over time. I'm loving it, are you?
On October 30th, the U.S. Justice Department will begin to release 6,000 inmates from federal prisons across the country. The release of these inmates is due to new guidelines from the U.S. Sentencing Commission, which was created in order to reduce penalties on certain nonviolent drug crimes. The guidelines will not only apply to those 6,000 inmates, but also to any future drug offenders as well. Federal judges from the inmates' judicial district reviewed each of their cases to determine if their releases would benefit public safety. Once released, the inmates will either be sent to halfway houses or rehabilitation centers in order to be readjusted to everyday life. It is also estimated that 1/3 of these prisoners could face possible deportation from the U.S. According to the Bureau of Prisons, the time frame for their releases is between October 30th and November 2nd.
Bad news for the renowned sports betting sites who are always promising a chance to win big money. Adam Johnson, a regular user of both sites, filed a class action lawsuit on Thursday, October 8th, accusing both DraftKings and FanDuel of negligence, fraud, and false advertising. The case surfaced after both sports gambling sensations revealed the policy that allowed employees of the companies to gamble on the other site's contests for cash prizes. According to the suit, quote, DraftKings performs analytics to determine winning strategies, return on investment of certain strategies, and even how lineups on FanDuel would do if they were entered into DraftKings contests. This would potentially be the advantage of the employees if proven true. A FanDuel spokesperson told ESPN that DraftKings employees have won 0.3% of the money FanDuel has awarded in the company's history. Those approximate rewards would be around $2 billion, which means DraftKings employees have won $6 million. Both sites have permanently banned employees from betting on other sites, and New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman has issued an inquiry on both companies.
Before we wrap up the show, Madison Elliott sits down with LaSalle student Dan Maloney. Take it away, Madison.
Hello, I'm reporter Madison Elliott here for LTV News, and today I'm sitting down with student Dan Maloney. So Dan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And we want to talk about the Collegians. So you studied abroad this what was it, last fall or last spring?
Last spring.
Last spring in Italy, I believe it was?
Yes, in Rome.
Oh, that's amazing. And so when you came back, you wanted to put that experience on paper. So you and another student kind of put together this totally new column to feature study abroad students. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and your experience studying abroad?
Sure. Last spring when I studied abroad, I worked with Bobby Cooney, and we thought it'd be really interesting if we could feature some of like the explorers actually exploring abroad. Right. So he did that for me, and I would write for basically his column when he was editing while I was gone. Okay. And then now in the fall, I've found people studying abroad now to kind of feature their experiences.
So that's awesome. So while you were abroad, you were even taking care of the collegian back here at home.
Yes, I can't escape it.
So what would you write about? Just like everyday experiences?
I think one of the really interesting things about study abroad is kind of because you have that time, you're able to appreciate like different aspects of the culture. Right. So I would kind of write about different aspects of the culture through specific experiences. Okay. And I try to get my writers to do that now with like limited success.
So who else is writing this semester? Where are people studying?
So far, I've had John Baxter write for me, and then I've had people from Ireland and Spain as well. So they're coming in a little slowly, and I appreciate it, because when you're abroad, things at home are not really your top priority.
Definitely. I mean, I studied abroad in Spain this summer, and I remember like not having time to do anything because I just wanted to soak up every single second of traveling and experiencing the culture. So that must have been kind of hard finding time to write that column while you were abroad.
It was hard, but I blogged actually almost every day when I was abroad. For myself, really, I used it more as a journal, and then I was like, this is a way to keep in contact with everyone at home. So sometimes I would basically just copy and paste my blog posts and kind of send it LaSalle's way, and it worked out.
There you go.
Yes.
Kill two birds with one stone,
Exactly.
right? Awesome. So how was studying abroad in Rome? What classes were you taking, and what was that experience like for you?
It was really probably the most extraordinary experience of my life. And I'm an ed major, like you said, so I can't really take education classes, especially for English, which I want to teach in Italy. So I took classes that interested me more. So I took a Baroque art class with the professor was actually, she was from a Roman aristocratic family. Wow. I took a travel lit class, which was really, really incredible. And then I took a few religion class, an Italian culture class, things of that nature.
That's really great. So for that lit class, were you able to, did they actually make you go out and travel while you were
We had
there?
to write about our travels.
Oh, okay.
So we would read things basically through history about how people kind of reflected on travel and what it means to travel, especially how you develop as a person. And then she actually tried to make us do that ourselves for our own experiences. So it was interesting, like from a literary perspective, but also from a personal perspective, because you were kind of forced to reflect.
Right. So now when you're reading other people's columns coming in for the Collegian, are you like a little nostalgic, a little sad that you're not abroad as well again?
I'm very nostalgic, let me tell you. I miss traveling so much, and I did really appreciate the time when I was there.
Right.
But I miss it a lot, the kind of constant adventure you get to have there.
Definitely. I remember when I was abroad, it was a new city every weekend, and I say, oh man, I miss it. There's so much left I still wanted to do. So do you think you would go back? There's more you have yet to explore?
Yes, but in some way, I also kind of learned different ways I like to travel, and I kind of found that I prefer to stay in one place for kind of a longer period of time, because then I could kind of take my time a little more, enjoy the lifestyle a little more, which became kind of more important for me, because I kind of realized I can't do everything, which is hard for a type A person to realize. And then I realized as long as I relax and maybe get a better experience out of it, it's more worthwhile.
Do you think there were challenges while you were abroad, while doing all the traveling that you were, trying to get this column out and writing constantly for it?
It was a challenge because, like you said earlier, you're so busy, so much, just I don't know, sensory overload is occurring. So to kind of put that time aside is hard, but I also, just from a personal perspective, I think it's important to reflect about what you do. And for me, the best way I was able to do that was writing. I'm an English-minded person, that's the way my brain works. So it was, like I said earlier, it was kind of personal for me as well to take that time. And then, like I said, I was able to use it kind of for other people as well.
So through your reflections, what do you feel was your favorite experience or the most memorable, something that really stuck out while you were away?
I was given the opportunity to meet with the Christian Brothers at their headquarters actually in Rome. And I met up with this one brother, Brother Pat Duffy, a few times, and he was able to take me around the city. But I was also able to meet the brothers there and kind of experience the kind of international Lasallian community there is, which I definitely did not appreciate before going abroad. And that has definitely stuck with me. It's kind of changed my perspective of what Lasallian means.
It's really interesting that you say that, because I remember when I was abroad this summer, I was in a class and we were going around, it was all American students for the most part, and we were going around saying what schools, what states we were from, and there was this one girl from the Philippines, and she said, oh, I go to Lasalle University in the Philippines. I was like, I go to Lasalle University in America, and it was just so cool to have that connection with somebody from a totally different country, totally different culture, and that for me as well opened my eyes up to that Lasallian experience that's worldwide and not just here in Philadelphia.
It's because it's so easy to forget, and it was very comforting to know in a small way that there was a LaSalle in Rome that I could go to if I had to.
Exactly. Wow, that is so amazing. So why don't you just tell us a little bit more about yourself? What else are you involved with on campus?
Sure. I am a tour guide for the admissions office, so I get to talk to families a lot, and then I also kind of just do secretarial work for them as well. And then I am involved a little bit with the neighborhood tutoring program. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And then I also have a radio show where I get to interview people and kind of feature their stories, which I do a little bit in the Collegian as well, for kind of an audience on the radio.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to have you with us. I'm reporter Madison Elliott for LTV News, and I'm sending it back to you, Steve and Corey.
Be sure to find us on the web as well as the rest of LaSalle TV on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalle TV. You can tweet at us at LaSalle TV Philly, or even email us your thoughts at lasalletv@lasalle.edu.
If you missed the scoop and want to see it, you can find episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/LaSalle56. Until next time, for Madison, Steve, and the entire crew, I'm Corey Meredith. Thanks for watching LTV News, where the action never stops. deal.
In black. Just do the copy.
Awesome.